Hello YouTube, Wes here checking in with a brand new episode of The Vinyl Survivor. This show is about sort of the final reckoning of albums I have bought in the past. This is where I decide whether they're going to be filed away in my permanent collection or they're going to be going away. So those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. This is kind of my thoughts and feelings on each album and yeah, whether I liked them or not and whether there's something I want to keep. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into it, 10 albums at a time. First one we have here is an album from Gary Numan. This one's titled Dance from 1981. Gary Numan, sort of a pop artist, synthy pop artist. So this is a really nice album and really enjoyable. Say kind of ahead of its time, sort of its time of 1981. But yeah, definitely enjoyed it. If you're into sort of 80s pop kind of stuff, probably like this. Nice headshot there. Some lyrics on it as well. There's the album itself, Atco label. So yeah, not too much to say about this one. Gary Numan, Dance from 1981. I enjoyed it. I like 80s pop music. He's a well-known artist, and I enjoyed it. And it's going to be staying in my collection. So thumbs up on this one. Check it out if you think you might like it. All right, next up from 1978, we have the live album by David Bowie titled Stage. Nice 2 LP concert here. Yeah, pretty good. I wasn't sure what to expect on this one. I hadn't heard it before picking this up on vinyl. I actually picked this up quite a while ago now. I picked this up the week he died, or actually a few days before he died. Gatefold on this one, sort of very similar to the cover there. Some very dark, moody kind of live shot there. Not the greatest artwork, but a good solid live album from him. I was kind of impressed. I wasn't expecting much from this. I was expecting it to just kind of be a sort of yeah, you have it because it's Bowie, but it's good. It's a good set. You got a lot of his great stuff on here. Being from '78, it's got all that sort of classic Bowie in there that you all love, including Heroes and stuff like that. So Fame and all that stuff. Of course, you got Ziggy Stardust on here. 5 Years, one of my favorites. Yeah, good stuff. So good 2 LP live album from Bowie. RCA Nipper label there, black Nipper label, kind of a very classic RCA label. David Bowie with Stage, 1978, gets a thumbs up from me. This one's also going to be staying in my collection, not just because it's Bowie, but because I enjoyed it. So it's definitely a surprise, and I'm glad I like that. All right, next up is a compilation of the Florida Folk Festival from 1977, from the year I was born. This is the Florida Folk Festival, the first 25 years, 1953 to 1977. And the Florida Folk Festival has been a festival I've been going to pretty much all my life. It's just about an hour north of me in White Springs, Florida at Stephen Foster State Park right on the Swanee River. It's a really cool park, a really cool place, a really great festival, a lot of great music there. And so this is a compilation they did back in '77 to celebrate the 25th anniversary. It's got some storytelling on here. It's got some musicians on here. You got, of course, Gamble Rogers is on here, one of the most well-known Florida folk artists. Will McLean, also a very well-known Florida folk artist. So you get a nice gatefold here with some photos from the festival and explanation of the different groups on here. You got everything from a school singing group to storytellers to folk balladers to got some blues on here. You got some Seminole Indian music on here as well. It's that kind of cool festival. You got a lot going on. It's not just sort of guitar folk kind of stuff. A lot of stuff going on, and I really enjoyed going to the festival, and when I found this, I had to have it. So, and there's the pressing, just a single LP. Unfortunately, I wish they had made this a 2 LP set. Would have been nice to have even more music from there. But all the recordings from the Florida Folk Festival are archived, and the state runs an online archive, so you can really go on there and listen to any of this stuff. It's all been digitized, which is nice. Just a cool piece of history and something that's nostalgic for me, and it's good music too. So Florida Folk Festival, the first 25 years, gets a thumbs up from me. Probably a pretty rare album to find. I'm sure they didn't make too many of these, and I'm sure not many of them lasted, but yeah, cool one, staying in my collection. All right, moving on to the Canadian indie rock group SupraWes. This is their 2004 album titled Set Yourself on Fire. Inner sleeve with some lyrics and liner notes on it. There's the label. They're on the Arts and Crafts label. They've sort of bounced around between different labels here and there. SupraWes are kind of a, I hate to do this, but you can kind of compare them to Arcade Fire. They're a large indie rock group that, you know, mixes in a lot of different sort of sounds into their music, and they're pretty comparable in my opinion. So if you're a fan of Arcade Fire and you haven't listened to SupraWes, I'd say check them out. But and even if you don't like Arcade Fire, maybe check out SupraWes. Maybe you'll like them instead. They're not the same as Arcade Fire. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying they're kind of in the same wheelhouse, but different, and they have their own sound, but kind of a similar vein, I guess. But yeah, enjoyable album from them, and a classic, and I was glad to have found this and add it to my SupraWes collection. So, Set Yourself on Fire, 2004 from SupraWes, and it's staying in the collection. All right, next up, a piece of psychedelic music on the Sacred Bones label. This is Folkazoid, with their album titled 3. And it is a gold foil cover, so it's going to be very hard to show on camera here without causing a lot of glare and stuff. But there's kind of what the cover looks like. Nothing going on the back cover. Yeah, very much a sort of sludgy, dark, psychedelic kind of sound here. Okay, they're from Chile. I know they're from South America somewhere, and that's insert that comes in the album there. Not much going on there, just a quick little blurb saying where it was recorded. And nice gold colored vinyl. It's very, very bright. It's listed as gold vinyl, but it's a very bright yellowy color. Kind of almost a pea color, if you want to say that. But yeah, good music. If you like psychedelic stuff, if you like really heavy stuff, definitely give this a try. I think you might like it. So that one gets a thumbs up for me again, staying in the collection. All right, next thing I have to talk about with you this evening is a soundtrack release from Mondo Recordings. This is their re-release, or their vinyl release version of the soundtrack to the movie Gravity. Killer sci-fi movie. This is kind of sci-fi I like. That's very, very slow and very sort of dark, and not a lot of pew pew and you know, rocket ships and all that stuff. This is kind of very cerebral and cool stuff, and definitely dug the movie a lot, and definitely dug the music as well. So when I had the chance to pick this up used for a really good price, I went ahead and grabbed it. There's a cool gatefold there. And there's what the label looks like, sort of a custom label. Track listings all on one side, and then Spaceman there on the other side. This is the black vinyl. I believe Mondo usually does a very small run of colored vinyl, and then they have a slightly larger run that's done on black vinyl. This is the black vinyl version of it. But I'm just happy to have the soundtrack nonetheless. As I said, I like the movie. I like the music. It's very sort of slow, kind of spacey, kind of soundtracky kind of music. So yeah, definitely a keeper for me, staying in the collection. Enjoy the music and enjoy the movie as well. So that's the soundtrack to Gravity. All right, this next one, I won't spend too much time on it, but I have been talking about these as I work my way through them. This is the 2014 mono reissues of the Beatles' first 11 albums or something, first 8 albums, was it? Yeah, all analog mono reissues. This is the With the Beatles. One of the last ones I picked up, I believe. yeah, just very nice, faithful reissues, the UK versions in mono. All analog, as I said, sound amazing. Go ahead and quickly show the label. They recreated the Parlophone label on these, which is nice. So yeah, with the Beatles, mono reissue, staying in my collection. Okay, moving on. This time another soundtrack, and one that I just recently featured in a vinyl discovery, and that is the Volume 1 soundtrack to the Netflix series Stranger Things by Kyle Dixon and Michael Stein of the band Survive, sort of an electronic soundtrack sort of thing here. Very cool horror electronic music. If you're into that kind of stuff, you know, John Carpenter kind of thing, you'll probably like this as well. Really cool music. So don't need to show this too much since I recently just did show it pretty in depth in a vinyl discovery episode. But really nice sort of dark, you know, dark, very moody kind of keep you on the edge of your seat kind of electronic music, and really dug it. So that one gets a thumbs up from me, and it's gonna be staying in my collection. All right, moving on, a piece of hip hop here. I haven't showed any hip hop yet. This is the 1990s girl group Oaktown 357 Wild and Loose album from 1989. Okay, not a 1990s, but 1989. Yeah, I don't know if they were discovered by MC Hammer or just produced by MC Hammer, but it definitely has that sort of late 80s, early 90s pop hip hop sort of sound to it, but in a girl group, and it's good stuff. And yeah, definitely enjoyed listening to this album. It was a nice find. I have a bit of nostalgia for this kind of stuff, since that's kind of when I was younger and growing up and getting into hip hop, and I listened to a lot of this stuff when it was new. So on the purple Capitol label. Very nice. So Oaktown 357 Wild and Loose from 1989. That one is staying in the collection. Okay, and last but not least, we have a piece of, I don't know what to call this other than just 60s pop music. It's kind of, yeah, it's just 60s pop music. United, Brotherhood of Man, United We Stand. The cover makes this look a lot more psychedelic than it is. It's more just sort of 60s pop kind of sounding, but it's enjoyable, kind of, you know, if you want that sort of light 60s pop sound, kind of in the mood for something sort of that era, kind of, you know, Austin Powers-y kind of sound, kind of a throwback sound there. You probably enjoy this. And it is on the Duram label. Really nice label. So yeah, Brotherhood of Man, United We Stand. It's a thumbs up for me. I dug it. I'm going to keep it around, keep it in the collection. So yeah, that's it for this episode. All the albums this time made it. They're all going to be staying in my collection. Hope you enjoyed the show. Thanks for watching. Leave me some comments if you like. Have a great day, a great night, and we'll see you again real soon. Cheers.